Hello everyone, today I'm going to be playing some Warm Snow. I've actually been playing this game a lot on my stream lately. It's actually a lot of fun, very surprisingly. It's a pretty small indie game, but I've definitely been enjoying it a lot, especially since I love a lot of roguelikes, as you've seen a couple videos I have on my channel. But today I want to
白
just start
莲
off
遮天，
with a new
暖
save.
雪将至。坊间皆传，是因为龙帝与当朝四大家族虎、猪、龟、鹤逆天而行。神明降下天法，人间异象横生。
娘，你看，这雪是暖的。
Damn! I didn't really watch this cutscene in the beginning. What a cutie.
欲息天怒，必诛世家。道阻且长，而必慎行。
All right, let's get into
你
this.
总算回来了。王家的部队向我们发起了突袭，佛堂危险了，赶快回去看看吧。
A nice little hack and slash game. Have some really cool mechanics, especially with these flying swords. And they have different abilities for them. And as we get to this tutorial, you can see a little bit more of them. But flying swords are probably one of my favorite, just because all of the enemy attacks can be pretty overwhelming sometimes when you're up close in melee. I don't really like Big Bone in the first place, but we'll do the active skill of it. So each item has the ability to go into either a core, a power, agility, or skill slot. Each of them having different effects. Core usually is just active skill. Power usually enhances damage. Agility is usually whenever you do your dash. It usually has something they call your flicker. And skill is usually just some sort of passive skill that kind of helps with everything else. So the active skill, this item, I think stuns. Yeah, it does a big ground explosion and stuns them. And then once you shoot all your swords out, you have your sheath ability is what they call it, and it actually recalls all of your swords back to you. And a lot of times does extra stuff. And so this character, as you can see, the Cold Blood, gets increased movement speed, and his melee attacks have 15% chance to do 200% damage. And then they have different versions of them, like the Hidden Strike and the Flurry. So you can either turn your shooting a flying sword boosts the damage of your next melee attack. Your melee attack hits your sheath ability is reduced by 1 second, so you can do your sheath ability a lot faster. Or in this one case, instead of doing your flying swords on command, you now shoot a powerful flying sword in front of you whenever you melee attack. And it also increases your defenses, which is actually kind of a fun one. I liked it this one, so probably this one. Scroll of Wolf. Let's see, now I can no longer shoot my swords out, but they're part of my melee attacks now. So it basically just enhances my melee attacks. And then after you clear each area, you get to choose a different path. This one right here is like Blue Essence. It's like an in-game currency, what you spend while you're playing. And then the book is like a passive you can get at the end that helps throughout your entire run. And usually books are pretty highly sought after because they usually give you a lot of your synergies and your damage boosts. So here's the book. King Hit. You deal 275% more damage whenever your enemy's HP is full. which is basically just a big hit on the first one. Ruthless, your Cold Blood has a 15% chance to trigger. And then defense boost. This one actually boosts the on hit in the down the bottom left, so it has the 15% chance to do 200% damage, but now it has a 30% chance, which is pretty awesome. So it's gonna be kind of an on hit style build. So the more you melee attack, the more damage you're getting to pumping out. And another book here. Stacking defense, concentration, just flat 5% damage or increased healing. Increased healing is alright. You're not healing too much in this game unless you get some decent builds slated down the line. I think I'm just gonna take the damage. There are meta progression upgrades, so after you're done you get some currency depending how far you progress, and you can get upgrades that'll stick with you between all of your runs. And in most roguelikes, you can't actually get very far unless you have more and more of the meta progression ones. Damage you deal is 20% chance to increase all of your damage, 20% chance upon taking damage to increase your defenses, and whenever your rage reaches 100, automatically consume all rage, your both attack and defenses for 30 seconds. I actually really like that one. Versus the other ones, these are just above or below 50% HP that do different things, but this one will probably help me out the most. And then when the rage happens, basically every time you hit enemies, you get a little bit of rage, and once your rage hits 100, it'll automatically consume all of it and give you these stats. And the rage bar is underneath my HP bar. The rest of these I don't really care, so I'll just take this. You can see underneath my HP bar in the top left, there's a little yellow bar, and that actually gives me, that's my rage bar. So once that hits 100, that's whenever I get my extra stat boosts. Now we're at our first boss, the good old wolf. He has like a 3 dash ability. Dash once, dash twice, dash 3 times. And you can kind of hit on him for a little bit. Then he has a little leap. Another little leap. You can also pick up your swords off the ground instead of waiting on your sheath ability. Kind of like Dark Souls, the little gourds in the top left are also your healing flasks. So I only have 2 of them, and you get them after you progress to a certain point. You'll get more of them. And then each boss usually drops you a sword, or they call Excaliburs in this game, a relic, and a book. Increased damage, increased against poisons, and sheath cooldown. Melee and flying sword attacks, 60% chance to 666% damage. It's not terrible. Millennium Ice is obviously, it's frost, a lot of frost abilities. It's not bad. Cast Chill on all surrounding enemies once every 2 seconds to reduce their damage by 5% and their movement speed by 20% for 3 seconds. Effects stacking up to 5 times, which is not bad. Also, there's supposed to be music in this game. I don't know if the music... Oh, it's turned down. That's why. There we go. And then each, like, class has a specific upgrades for them to help with them. So this one is during your melee attack, chance to shoot all of your swords in front of you cause weakness to enemies, and it resets my sheath ability. Upon sword pickup, attack and movement speed are both increased for 6 seconds, can stack up to 7 times. When stacked up 7 times, receive leech effect for 3 seconds, so some lifesteal. And upon sword pickup, unleash 1 hurricane slash. Upon using my recall, unleash a giant hurricane slash, which I've done this one before. It's actually not bad, but I think I want to do the Bladestorm one to really buff up my melee attacks.
老头子给你安排了，准备动身了。
And after each level, you end up going back to your village. You can unlock some more NPCs
石
later.
州城好像已经出现了动乱，
That'll help
事不宜
to
迟， 赶紧动身吧。
different things like a blacksmith will help up with your weapons. You could reroll your weapons. And one guy will give you random money or random relic, money, or weapon. Pigs are the most annoying to deal with because they'll charge at you as soon as they see you and just start knocking you over. Quite annoying. So you gotta be careful the first time you see them. And these guys with the yellow underneath them are elites. They do quite a bit of damage. They're usually pretty tanky, but right now they're not too bad. All damage up, lightning damage, sheath cooldown, and enemies with bleed. I do have Millennium Ice. It's not in my power slot. I think I'm going to keep this one just because the Excalibur effect is a little bit better. I do lose out on a little bit of damage. Each Excalibur does have a rarity as well. Legendary being better than Epic, but I'm not too fond of the Excalibur effect. So I think I'm just going to pass it up for now. And you can get rid of them for Blue Essence, which is money you can use to spend at shops. Which you should see in a little bit. And those damn pigs. I was pressing dodge, but it didn't work. They're quite annoying. If there's several of them plus enemies, they will continuously just smash you down. Tempest Blade is really great for this build. Can't see though, it does say melee speed by 80%, which is actually really good. Very, very good. And this is a lovely, lovely book creature. Basically a tome mimic. It can be quite difficult to deal with in the beginning. They'll chase you around until it attacks. You kind of have to dodge the last second. Sometimes he just attacks kind of without warning. They're really fun to deal with. They do drop a tome. It's always great. Increased damage dealt by each sword not carried. It's actually really good because every time I melee attack, I'm losing swords. Then my swords are out and about and I get more damage. Enemies take 10% more damage for each flying sword stuck in its body. Barrel Wind, melee attack speed by 30%, movement speed by 10%, and then Underwind. Underwind has never seemed that great for me, because whenever you cause damage to an enemy whose percentage is higher than yours, additional damage will be caused. So basically, if you suck, your HP's low, you'll do more damage to the enemies, but ideally you want to get broken builds. So if you get a broken build late game, it means nothing. So I think I'm going to do just increase some attack speed. The swords don't tend to want to stick inside people. And this is the shop you can spend your blue essence in the top right for. Usually you always have a heal, a tome, and then 3 relics. Which I think I like blue steel for this one. Melee attacks have a chance to deal 1.75 times damage. I'll take it. And just place the big bone. Replace it for now. It's really bad. Nope. This wonderful guy. A lot of the enemies have dashing attacks in this game. And multiple phases. As per usual. And he also likes to do that. Awesome. check out the new Excalibur. Don't like it. Death Lotus is actually pretty decent, depending on what you have. I'm actually going to replace Big Bone with it. I think out of all the other items, Bone definitely needs to go. Oh, I can't distill them yet. Later you'll be able to distill relics, and it'll give you a little bit of max HP for some of them, and then also heal you. Upon dealing damage, increase all your damage you deal by 1%. So basically 20% stacking damage up, or just a flat damage 10%. Let's do the stacking damage up. And now as you see the Death Lotus, every time I flicker, they're like little bombs that if the enemy run into them, they explode. And do a decent little bit of damage. Once you start getting pretty decent builds, you can kind of just run through people.
此物并非普通的血，在放大数倍后观察，其貌似是某种活物。
I'm definitely gonna grab Key Herb instead of Millennial Ice. Just cause Rage Gain's pretty good for getting the extra damage up. From our Blood Fungus.
时机已到，大业将成。
Also, as you progress,
即将崛起。
there are little pieces of lore spread around, and once you collect a set of them, usually 2 to 3 per set, they give you permanent upgrades. It's not much, it's usually like 5% attack or 5% health or something along those lines. This build's actually starting to be pretty good. We could beat the game on our very first run with no upgrades. That would be really awesome, but I highly doubtful. Just because some of the later bosses are not very melee friendly. And if you don't have decent defenses, you're not gonna do too well. This right one here is 10% rage gain, and we're not really doing flying swords so much, so I'm just probably gonna take the 10% melee damage. I'm actually going to move this. Read the right one. There we go. Might be able to read it now. We'll have to see. Damn pig. Right now the game looks pretty easy, but as you progress, there's higher difficulties. It can get pretty difficult. The enemies scale pretty well between each level. And if you don't get some pretty decent stuff, you could fall behind pretty quickly. And plus, if you don't know enemy attack patterns, also. But that's just learning new roguelites. Learning new attack patterns. I don't really want to switch any of these out. I think I'll just leave it be. Random Excalibur. No less than epic. I'll actually take that. I'm not the biggest fan of my current Excalibur. This would be really good if I ended up getting a Sand of Muherta in the core slot, but it's not really that great right now, so I think I'm just gonna keep what I have. Each Excalibur has its own kind of effect that usually helps with different items and skills that you get from tomes. They can actually scale pretty well. And some of them even work with specific character abilities.
Hmm? 哪儿来的大胆狂徒？胆敢扫了我的雅兴，简直是不知死！
What a cute guy. Ah, son of a bitch. Okay, I'm gonna heal here just so that text goes away. Sometimes they just sit there and don't attack for a little bit. Sometimes they're just absolutely relentless. So I don't know, the AI in the game can be wonky sometimes. Come back! Sir, have you heard about the Fitness Grand Pacer test? Please come back. Oh, hey, bud. And you have to actually attack each arm and try to dodge that. Adios to that arm. And my blood orb pops, so I'm doing tons of damage now. He also tries to suck you up. Absolutely fun. Let's go.
书信上写道
Some more lore items.
圣上已经年迈
Wine
体衰，
Fairy.
五子已经长大成人，一族夙
I'm
愿
good.
终将达成。
I'm good. Another Millennial Ice. Millennium Ice. Do not want it. Now this one's fun, the follow through. I almost feel like Cold Blood would be just a little bit better because flying swords are on my melee attacks, so all of my melee attacks can now try to proc this Cold Blood 200%. So even higher chance, like basically just be spam procking it. This, I'm not really trying to pick up my swords because I do more damage without my swords there, so I'm actually going to try this out. See how it works.
刚刚可真险，虽然大家都见怪不怪了，可我还是会好奇，你为何从来不说话？
Curious what happens. Yeah, this guy actually gives you
你拿一个。
random blue souls, random relic, random Excalibur. I usually grab the relic
散场啦，
just
下
so I
次再
can
来吧你。
see what we got. Lightning Lock is a lot of lightning damage, which I don't really want the lightning damage. So we're just not gonna mess with that.
准备好了吗？
We do not want it.
前方就是司令台了，你可要小心了。
On to the next area. Scroll of Crane. More lore.
人会在1个时辰后开始发生异变，并
Kind of gives some Hades vibes. If anyone's ever seen Hades, I would think so. The game was pretty popular for a little bit. I do have a video on my channel of me doing a stream with some Hades. The red numbers just means like melee attack, physical damage, and the white numbers actually means true damage. So it'll pierce their armor and not have to worry about their defenses. Yeah, dodge that. Upon melee damage, increase your flying sword damage. Upon flying sword damage, increase your melee damage, which is my melee damage is my flying sword damage, so they kind of stack on top of each other. Deal more damage against enemies under 50% HP. Damage increases as HP decreases. I don't know, these are both pretty good, but this will be damage at all points in time, not just below 50%, so I think I'm gonna take that. These crane statues like to make the enemies invisible. It's a lot of fun. Max HP up, all attack up, defense up, but you can't dash anymore. I think I'm good on that one. Upon dealing damage, increase your damage by 3.5% for 1 second, stacking up to 10 times, so 35% damage. Upon dealing more damage, I'm about it. Stacking damage, let's go! Statues also only take 1 HP. So if you're doing like a slow hit kind of build, kind of annoying to kill. Yeah, black powder is good for flame damage and burning builds, but I'm not doing one of those at the moment, so leave that be. This little red skull here is elites. They drop different things whenever you kill them. Usually it's randomly relic, a tome, or a sword. Tome if you're really lucky. What did you drop? Relic. Mechanical nozzle. Upon dealing flying sword damage, flame damage. Flicker shoot flame damage. This one's a flame damage, but usually flying sword kind of flame damage. I'm not too big a fan on that one either. Doing more melee attacks. Anything else? We don't really need the flame damage. Sometimes you'll find good swords that have like tons of flame damage on them. If they're burning or something like that, you do a ton more damage to them. You can reroll the effects, but if you don't really have anything else at the time and you're able to put a little bit of burning, it doesn't definitely doesn't hurt. Probably another blue steel.
不喜欢吗？
Not exactly too happy on this one. I want to keep Kier because it gets my blood fungus damage and defenses up faster. Wouldn't mind the attack, but we'll buy a tome.
决定了，可就不许反悔了。
Flying sword attack increased by 35%, and when flying sword hits, chance to deal 360% damage. I do have flying swords in this damage, but I think the armor penetration would be just better. The rend, the enemies don't seem to keep the flying sword stuck in their body very well. So I think I'm just going to take the armor pen, just because we're not really stacking flying sword damage. I dodged that one. Professional. No, come back. Here we go. Not too jabby. Nameless. Melee damage, great. Stun damage, not so great. Frost damage, not great. Burning damage, not great. Follow through deals 30% more damage and chance to trigger Blade Storm is increased by 10%. So what exactly is follow through? Do I have that? Does not seem like I do. So I'll probably just keep what I have currently. Melee damage is nice, but just it's not super helpful. I can do a chance to deal 666% more damage with this sword, which I think that proc just kind of beats out anything else. These Spirit Jades are really good for flying sword builds, but I am currently not doing a flying sword build, so we'll just have to leave that be. Okay. These are both more damage, less defenses. This one is you're very fast. Your flicker also damages enemies in your path. This one is just minus 300% defense in total. But you can recover defense upon losing HP. You still get basically one hit. It's not super great unless you're doing a really great build, but I think I'd rather just take the movement speed and then any bonus movement speed and create turn to damage. I think I'm just better off with that. Play a little bit safer since I don't have a lot of defenses. My defenses from my meta upgrades, meta progression upgrades. Doing decent damage. Damage so far isn't too bad of an issue. We're actually playing this pretty damn well. I don't want a Hurricane again. When you have no enemies within melee range, which is terrible, it's a melee build. I really don't want Hurricane. You know, just for this build, we're actually gonna go Hurricane. Just for the video. For the lulz. Now we're pretty dang fast. And actually, we have a Radic. So we have more bonus movement speeds. They should actually scale into each other pretty well. Get more damage. There's actually a lightning build in this game that does basically the same thing. Zooming around everywhere. Except for I think that one was doing a little bit more damage than this one, but we don't have the meta upgrades, people. The upgrades. Have anything ice related. Don't really need too much health. Also helps clearing speed up a good bit. So now I can move a lot faster. Another tome. Wall attack, HP, defense, just great. I spend my blue souls a good bit of the time, so it's kind of hard to keep many souls with a high amount of damage to really be worth it. Unless you have a really good build really early. But I like to min-max too much. I like to find the perfect ones, the highest rarity. Ma'am, could you stand away from that? Really sweet of you. One thing I kind of wish they did was maybe show you a buff bar somewhere, so you know whenever you have some of your buffs up. That would be pretty useful. On to phase 2. We're doing pretty great damage at the moment.
来的英雄，
This one's looking, it's looking pretty good.
如今你又能够做什么呢？就和妾身一同享受这末日的欢愉吧！
英雄，不要委屈，击破彼岸之眼。
Destroy the eyes to weaken the black sun. This part's pretty annoying because the only way to do damage is to destroy the eyes. So you basically just have to be playing, dodge the abilities, and destroy the eyes when they come up. Hurricane definitely helps here though, because I am able to move around pretty quickly. And I ran into that. Go me. Worst part about this is if you rush and try to kill them while she's doing attacks, you'll run into them like I did, like a dumbass. And if you get hit on like the right side and then immediately left side, it'll knock you over to the left side and you'll get hit by both and you'll basically just get one shot. It's great! It's fantastic.
终于来了。
Upon picking up my swords, gain attack and movement speed. That would be pretty awesome. Sword fusion. When attacked, chance to no damage and shoot flying swords back. I don't like on attack effects. I don't like. I already get one tapped because of my other item, so I'm just rather grab that. I do not have tricolor crystal, but tricolor crystal can be pretty damn good. So we're just gonna leave that though.
这个世界不存在真正的
This
善
is
神。
another
神并不
fire
会造
item.
人类
Do not want.
人类所听到的低语，
女人，
或许是来源于
任务完成了。
更加邪恶的存在
下。个任务是……哎，你等等我呀！
Wait for me.
今天咱顺了几个宝贝，你拿一个。
I don't really care too much for my Excalibur's not terrible, but it wouldn't hurt to get maybe a better relic,
散场啦
except for a
下
big
次
bone.
来
I
玩
really
点
don't want a big
最
bone.
近
This is a blacksmith. You can spend your blue essence to either have a chance to rank it up to a legendary, or it also has a chance to D rank, so to go down to a rare. You can make it go all the way up to the highest rank, which is impossible. But like I said, each time you rank up, you have a chance of D ranking. I think I'd rather just try to get better attributes. That was not great. Less damage. Still less damage, but we get movement speed. So I guess we'll just have to deal with that for now.
要出发了吗？
You can also go to her and basically sacrifice your current Excalibur to get a new one, and it's usually pretty good. Like I said, I like my
穿
melee
过
one
前
at the
方的万
moment.
丈谷便是天机府了。
If it ain't broke,
接下来
don't fix
只
it.
能靠你自己了。
There's a chance I'll get something stupid. I don't need it. Somehow I got hit. I have enough for that. We're zooming. Trying to clear as fast as possible. Zombie Finger, good for poison builds, but not doing a poison build.
听说皇城的顶端长出了巨大的白色莲花，地下紧急召见了四大家族，家主连夜赶进了宫，事情已经变得不大妙了。
Another book. I will actually take follow through now. Little blade spin attack whenever you pick up swords. And whenever you recall. There's also some lifesteal abilities and stuff you can get later, which I kind of wish I had one. It's about how hard I get hit whenever I do get hit. I do have Leech if I can pick up all my swords, but it's kind of difficult. Sometimes it just throws them all over the place. I also really hate this place because of the big laser enemies. Evasion, or I'll just take a little bit more damage. 12% isn't super high.
你又想怎么取悦妾身？
I don't have any money. Boss fight. Just stop hitting for it. Tearing through it. Absolutely tearing through it. Oh no. You're doing chunky damage. I can't use my flicker, which is really bad. Increased damage with all enemies in melee range. I will take that, considering I'm a melee attack build. Still don't have follow through, but can give me a good bit more damage on the passives, but I'll just have to reroll my other sword. I just think the 6% chance to do a good bit extra damage is just, it's too good. Oh no, oh no. There are kamikaze ones that just full sprint at you. Is that a legendary tricolor crystal? Wow. It's hard to pass up, but the really good part about it is it's core one. Once you do any of the three, you basically increase the other ones by... Legendary has a different effect. It's 99%. And then whenever you proc your rage, you basically add 35% of all those to your melee attacks, your flying sword damage. You basically just stack a bunch of elemental damage. It is pretty damn good if you're doing a pretty cool elemental build.
通过白莲喷发口附近的采样，多数是对地口，越是远离，白雪中的生物活性。
These guys just will chase you until they explode. And if they get in range, they will explode at you. It does a lot of damage. And these guys are really nice. And you can't kill them. They just have to explode on their own. Awesome. I don't want to eat this. We are taking a lot of miscellaneous damage, though. It's not really that amazing. Because of those guys. Oh, Turtle Man, chill. You done yet? You don't really want to hit them while they're spinning. I think they also reflect flying swords. Gain rage faster. This one does damage to me. Flying swords aren't really doing stupid damage. I think I'm gonna do rage faster. Proc my blood fungus more. Be doing good. I actually need healing. I don't know. fast enough with this flicker, you can actually just dash through them when they'll blow up, but pretty risky. Maybe a better key herb?
又给我带什么惊喜来
I do lose damage though, percentage damage. You have a common key herb, right? I really like a better one. A legendary key herb, that's exactly what we wanted. You get 55% more rage, you gain 40%, you gain rage 40% faster when your rage is below 40%, and you have a 30% chance of, for finishing moves to gain you 40% rage, which is just, that's really awesome. So we're just trying to gain a ton of rage so we can proc that blood fungus more, get more defenses and more attack. It's scaling damage, it's really awesome.
轮盘再次转动，
Pretty lucky.
或许这就是天意吧。
When you just have like 4 pillars, gotta try to kill the pillars, and they do different things depending on the little attribute that's on the floor. Like this one's these weird orb things, and then you gotta kill the middle pillar. You hit these like a beach volleyball.
再次转动吧。
Might have killed some.
坚不可破。
轮盘再次转动吧。
水如迅雷，惊破八荒。
We're doing stupid damage at the moment. Not all runs do you do this much damage.
再次转动吧。
吞并地位，身土不二。
Hurricane was actually a pretty decent pickup here. As long as I don't get hit. There we go. But of course, no boss has one phase. What kind of game do you think this is? Let's see how fast we can nuke him. This one's actually pretty stationary for the most part, besides all the other stuff, but if you kill him fast enough, he basically can do no damage to you. Let's see. Oh, we're doing damage, we're just not doing stupid damage. And the middle laser beam hurts a lot. I don't know how that hit me. Okay, there we go. Got a little sketchy for a second there.
由赵氏研发的新型封印
Celestial Light. If you have Celestial Jade, your melee and this flying sword attacks have 60% chance to proc Celestial Jade
增加对龙
core
脉
slot effects, but I don't have a Celestial Jade, so we're just gonna have to skip on that one.
沉睡，但如
I
果
don't think I, yeah, I don't.
非
Have Celestial.
龙家血脉，则会直接被龙脉反噬，导致死。
Increase cold blood damage by 400%. Each sword stuck in the enemy increases the chance to trigger it. Yeah, 400% damage is
这么大的家伙
it's kind of chunky.
任务完成了
Now it's up to 600%
让我看看
damage.
下个任务是……哎，你等等我呀！
Mission complete. Look what they did. All right, let's see. We have a little. Let's see if we can get this a little bit better. Really? All right, one more time. One more time. Let's do this. 4% damage, but melee attack speed. I'll actually
就
take
这
that.
玩意儿，你还当个宝贝了？
今天咱顺了几个宝贝，你拿一个。
See if we can get a better Excalibur actually.
散场啦，下次再来吧你。
Another Celestial Jade. I want it. Gives us enough to reroll. It does not. Never mind.
准备好了吗？终于要到皇城了。
I feel like I might be able to make it to the final boss, but he's just going to one tap me. Just straight up minus 250% defenses, just nuke everything that I loved. Already got hit. Decimation. Come on, buddy. Mutant Limb. That's good for bleeding, but I don't have any bleeds. I got hit by that. Game can be a lot of fun sometimes. Flying around, one shot and everything. Fast-paced gameplay. Be very rewarding.
龙武23年冬，
Plus for the sort of simple artwork, the animations are pretty awesome. And I actually really enjoy the like Bushido era kind of samurai situation going on. And those guys hurt. They hurt.
近来皇宫蔓延的怪病。
What do we got? Dead weight. You have both Fiery Saltpeter and Kier.
导致
I have Kier, but I do not have Fiery Saltpeter. Upon dealing damage, you have a chance to summon flaming tornadoes that fly off in different directions, dealing flame damage to enemies that come combat. It almost makes me want to pick up a Fiery Saltpeter, but I don't know if that's exactly what I want to do. Because I'm not really doing a flame damage build, so I'll probably just leave that be for now.
今天又给妾身带来可口的灵魂了。
I'm actually probably just going to take the heal and go about my way to keep the damage. Yeah, now we're chunking. Oh my gosh. Turns into a little fish. And then you shoot poison attacks that are really annoying. You have flying swords. You can deal with him pretty easily because you can still hit him while he does that. But then he pops out of the ground and you can just destroy him. Absolutely decimate him.
白莲从皇宫下方
Butcher,
长
if you have damnation, attack boost, and defense reduction are traded for 15% chance for attack to deal 300% extra damage. I actually didn't pick up damnation. I picked up Hurricane though. That actually wouldn't have been terrible. That would have been pretty good. But I did not have it, so we'll just get rid of it. Flicker distance is increased. Your defense dealt. I don't really keep my swords on me. So we'll actually probably take the flicker distance. Now we can dash a little bit further. Not terrible. I think during your entire dash though you have iframes, so it'll be useful in some of the main phase stuff at the end. But then again, you also dash distance is longer, and if you get pretty used to your old dash distance, it actually hurt you. How was I nuking bosses, but these guys just won't die? Will you do your roll already? There we go. Keeping my Excalibur. Basically probably not going to change anything I have at the moment. Just keep this build with me till the end, unless I get upgrades to the relics I have. Besides that, probably won't change anything unless there's a really good Excalibur effect. If I can make it in if I don't kill myself. Goodness. Pretty sure. And I died. Awesome. Oh, I'm pretty sure I was dodging. That's where the hurricane comes into effect. I just get one shot. Well, we made it pretty far. Made it very surprisingly far. I almost thought we could make it to the end. But this is where you get your meta progression upgrades through different trees, doing different things. I like to stack the damage one first, just because, you know, I'm greedy. That's what I like to do. I like to do more damage. In the bottom left is how many crystals you get. I think if you beat the entire one, you get around 13 crystals, and each of these upgrades cost 1. But I like to do, though, is at least do each in the top tree first for me. Once I get this first row, and then, because just a little bit of upgrades here and there. And then I'm going to go down into the attack tree. There's one more thing I want to show y'all before we end this video, since it is quite a long video. I didn't expect it to last that long. This is where the upgrades are. So once you collect each lore piece, as you can see on the right, it'll unlock different items, give you max HP boosts. Actually did get enough to unlock Power Core. And then, yeah, once you play through, you'll unlock different things. Alright, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please hit a like on it. If you enjoy this content, subscribe. And if you have any suggestions about how to make this content any better, then please hit it in the comment section. Thanks, everyone.